Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Ordinance Committee meeting, February 11th, 2026. Time is 6:32. This meeting was advertised pursuant to the New Jersey Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6 through 10:4-21. Notices were placed in the official publication of the Monroe Township, i.e. South Jersey Times, Courier Post, and the Sentinel of Gloucester County. A copy of that notice is posted at the bulletin board at the municipal complex. Please note that this meeting will be live streamed on the Township's YouTube channel in accordance with the Ordinance 56-2024. A link for the copy of this recording will also be posted on the Township's website for the public to view at their convenience. Would everyone please rise for a salute to the flag led by Council President Denise Adams?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call.
Mrs. Adams? Here. Mr. Coach?
Here.
Mrs. Fox? Here. Mr. Heatherly?
Here.
Mr. O'Reilly?
Here.
Mrs. Foxy?
Here.
Mr. Valentine?
Here.
Mayor Wolf?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Kurz?
Here.
Solicitor Mrs. Drake? Here. Business Administrator Mr. Demack?
Here.
Director of Code Enforcement Mr. Sebastian?
Here.
Director of Community Affairs Mrs. Park? Here. Director of Parks and Recreation Mr. Bruno?
Here.
Director of Public Safety Mr. Rump?
Here.
Director of Public Works Mr. Dill?
Here.
Director of Real Estate, Mr. Zonsky, is excused. Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Boyer.
Here.
Police Chief McBride.
Here.
And myself, Deputy Municipal Clerk Jan Harrison.
Thank you. Approval of minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of Ordinance Committee meeting December 10th, 2025?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Ordinances for review. First ordinance is Chapter 69-21, Police, Division of Compensation of Township. Can I have ask for a motion to move forward to first reading?
Motion to move forward.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Land sale. Do I have a motion to move forward for the first reading?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Chapter 230, Peddlers and Solicitors, Article 4, the no-knock registry. Do I have a motion to move forward to first reading?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Chapter 37, Fire Services, Article 1, Intermunicipal Assistance Agreement. Do I have a motion to move forward for first reading?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chapter 39, Fire Department. Do I have a motion to move forward for the first reading?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on to salary ordinance. Do I have a motion to move forward to first reading?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Ayes have it. Chapter 243, rent leveling. Do I have a motion to move forward to first reading this evening? Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
So we have some members of the public interested in this one. So, this evening before our ordinance committee here, our town council, an ordinance that is repealing our rent leveling ordinance that was previously established by this township. After I was elected mayor and our administration took office in January 2023, after several meetings, council meetings, we started to hear from some residents that had attended those council meetings back in 23. And I want to say it was probably in that late summer months to early fall months of 23. And the residents were expressing concerns about drastic increases in their rents at their manufactured home developments. Shortly thereafter, after a lot of discussions, this township drafted an ordinance to cap rent increases of 2%. At that time, we knew this was now one of the toughest rent leveling ordinances that were in the entire state of New Jersey. In fact, there was only one other municipality and had a 2% cap out of all 564 municipalities throughout our state. So it's a pretty aggressive ordinance that we had passed at that time, and we knew that there was probably going to be some litigation with that regarding that ordinance. Obviously, after passing that ordinance, we were ultimately sued by the developer, noting our ordinance, our decisions were arbitrary and capricious, and that we have been in litigation ever since. We're still in litigation, probably the past over 2 years. Unfortunately, when this township passed that ordinance, it brought attention to New Jersey state legislative candidates that were running at the time, Mr. Dan Hutchinson, who, after he was elected to the state assembly that year, he proposed a bill at the state level, which was recommended to cap rents at 3% statewide for manufactured homeowners. This township, me serving as mayor, some of the residents who were involved back then, were still involved today, were requested to provide testimony at the hearings in Trenton regarding why and how, what we did and why it was so important to have a state law regarding this issue. The bill that was proposed passed the Assembly, it passed the Senate, and was ultimately signed by Governor Murphy after what was called conditional veto, where the cap was set not at 3%, but 3.5%. And the law actually takes effect next month in March. This was a huge win for residents throughout New Jersey, not just Monroe Township, because it was finally state legislation protecting these residents from these drastic increases. So I say all this to tell you that I think we all knew when this was enacted as an ordinance, there was going to be some challenges, and they came immediately with those lawsuits. Like I said, over the past couple of years, we've been working through those lawsuits, and the courts have been involved with us. We have had 2 previous agreements, settlement agreements. However, each time those settlement agreements were withdrawn before signatures because some other demands were made and to be included in that. And we all know that some of the past groups that are presented before this council for other reasons. However, we stood our ground. We would not accept those further demands, and now there has been a new settlement agreement. With that being said, it's been signed by the developers, and part of that agreement would be to repeal the ordinance and fall within the state law that takes effect in March. We have discussed this ordinance at length. For again, over a few years, we discussed the settlement agreement. We believe after consulting with our legal team, that is now in the best interest of this township and all the taxpayers to settle and repeal the ordinance. With that, Township Council is going to be tasked with that this evening for a first reading. I also want to note that the other township that I mentioned that had a very aggressive rent leveling ordinance like we did with the 2% cap, they were also sued and they were in litigation when we passed our ordinance. And I believe back in 2025, this past year, they had also fallen in line with the state 3.5% cap. Keep in mind that when we first began in October 23, with this rent leveling ordinance, our goal was to offer protection to the residents of all the manufactured home developments. We immediately protected them by passing this ordinance, and now they have further protection under the trust law. So I know that's not what everybody wants to hear, but I'm sure, people are going to say that, hey, we were at 2%, now it's going to 3.5%, but keep in mind, because of the pending litigation, and I know a lot of residents, were coming here from the beginning, seeing 9% increases. So those days are over. We do have the protection, but because we're still in litigation, this settlement agreement has to be presented to the courts. I can't fully go into all the details, but again, it's in the best interest of all of our taxpayers and residents. So I know I've spoken with the HOA president of one of the developments, and I'm willing to sit down, have a little meeting with all the residents in that development. I reached out to a second one, and we'll do that with each and every development that is affected by this, so we can kind of go more into detail of how this transpired and where we're at today. But again, I hope everybody understands and will allow me to come and discuss that with you. But for right now, the best decision, with our legal opinion and in my opinion too, is to repeal this and follow the new state law that will offer this protection. This is all in the settlement agreement where they can jack up the rates. It is agreed upon that beginning in March, when when the state law takes effect, that's when the new increases will be effective. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Anyone else? Do I have a motion to move forward to first reading this evening?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Moving on to matters of discussion. The only matter of discussion this evening is reptile online sales. Business Administrator DeHart.
Yeah, so, our Board of Health was contacted. There's a business in town that sells, ball pythons. It's Jersey Guys Ball Python is the name of the company. They've been in existence for a few years. The state, they are for renewal for their license. The state added some changes where they need to get a letter from the municipality saying that they're in good standing. So that's the process that they're doing. Our code does not have anything in it that says this is permitted or not permitted. It is regulated by the state. The county animal shelter did send a animal control officer out there to do an inspection and gave them rave reviews. Everything looks clean, is in good order. But I did not want to submit a letter on behalf of the township without council being aware of this. Mr. Towers, the owner, is here. He can speak a little bit more if you have any other questions. Again, it's not something that is regulated by Monroe Township at all. It does not appear, again, it's regulated by the state, and Gloucester County Animal Control has done their inspection and gave them a good report.
Any questions? If they're followed by the state and the county, I'm okay with it.
Okay, then I'll submit the letter to get the township for Mr. Towers and his business.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any new business to discuss this evening? Seeing none, is there anyone who has old or unfinished business to discuss this evening?
Mr. Chairman, I have one item. As you're all aware, in our January council meeting here, we requested resolution R-76-26 be placed on the agenda to send a facility development plan back to the planning board to have professional research and investigate if we could somehow amend that plan and place some safeguards in the plans to address some of the residents' concerns regarding the possibility of a data center coming there one day. That was previously permitted in that new development plan. So I thank you all for supporting that resolution. And I attended the planning board meeting on February 2nd. I just want to report back that the professionals have been tasked with this, and they will hopefully have some recommendations by March 2nd at that planning board meeting. I am sure they have their work. They assured us that they would try to get the work completed by then. The planning board will hopefully take action that evening if there's any recommended amendments. And then hopefully we will have that back in front of council either at our first or second council meeting in March. I know this has been a hot topic with some of our residents in town, so I just want to provide this update. If anyone is here for that topic, again, we should have some information or action by our March 2nd planning board meeting, which is illustrated right here, and then potentially at a follow-up meeting here in March with our county council. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Anyone else have any unfinished business they want to discuss? Seeing none, can I have a motion to open to the public portion?
Motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak this evening regarding an ordinance? No, the resolutions are for the upcoming council meeting at 7 o'clock. This is just for the ordinances this evening. Mr. Fuder, please state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Good evening, Council, Mr. Mayor. Eric Fuder, 2014 Burlington Circle, Williamstown, New Jersey. I'd like to start off with your draft ordinance. This would be the one concerning the rent control ordinance. It seems that there's a material deficiency on the 4th and 5th paragraph of the ordinance, whereas, if I may read, Whereas Township Council of Monroe finds it necessary and appropriate to repeal Chapter 243 Township Code to ensure consistency and compliance with applicable law. That is not a correct statement, because the state law recognizes local ordinances and encourages it. The second statement is, whereas Township Council desires that rent control within the Township of Monroe be governed by accordance local Public Law Chapter 2025, Chapter 85, and is implementing statutes effective March 1st, 2026. Okay, that's, again, that Section 85 also pertains to municipalities being able to have their own rent control board, committee, whatever you want to call it, okay? So I would just like to see those two items stricken from your draft ordinance.
They're accurate, sir. They will not be stricken.
Would you like me to read you the law?
I have it pulled up right in front of me. I drafted this ordinance myself.
Okay. Well, then, let me just... So, then maybe you could tell me why, on the one hand, it says, we talk about Township of Monroe finding it necessary and appropriate to repeal, to be an applicable state law. On the previous ordinance, you not you, strike that. Council specifically states that this law is in accordance with state law. So it's either one or the other. Which way are we going?
I'm not sure what previous
Ordinance.
you're referring to, but what's before council today is this new ordinance repealing the old chapter 243 and
Okay.
effectively just following the state law under chapter 85.
But that's not what the state law says.
The state law, there is state law. The state law allows municipalities to maybe retain a rent leveling board,
Mm-hmm.
but this ordinance specifically just refers to the general state laws that relates to percentages and state compliance. So you can refer to the state law if you'd like further information.
Okay, because I'm pretty comfortable with the state law, what it says.
So,
The other thing that I wanted to bring, and I don't want to beat it up either, but I did want to ask council to table this ordinance temporarily, simply because the law goes into effect March 1st. It's to be under the control of the Department of Community Affairs and the Commissioner. The Department of Community Affairs and the Commissioner need time to enact administrative code in order to administrate the law correctly. Okay, well, we're just stopping on a dime. They're not going to have a chance to come up with any administrative directive. The state needs time to enact administrative code in order to take over seamlessly. I understand that it's part of a settlement, I understand that, but to simply ask for a delay while the state is getting their books in order, I don't believe that that's an unreasonable ask. So, I'm asking.
Mr. Freeman, if I could just comment on that, I mean, I would think and hope that the state, the governor signed this bill, I believe it was back in June.
Mhm.
I think and hope that since June, they've been working on shoring up all that information they received, to be prepared for this once it takes effect March 1st.
Okay, well, if I may I suggest council ask the Director of Community Affairs if he has any knowledge about this matter from the Commissioner? Maybe they already have it in progress.
So, if I may, Mr. Mayor, again, this law has been in effect or has been signed as of June 2025 with specific dates in place and specific delineations as to what goes into effect when. Increases and compliance and monitoring of same was specifically indicated in the law from June 2025 to take effect in March of 2026. So, as far as intent goes and preparation goes, I believe it was already considered. I'm not aware, as council, of any communications or correspondences as it relates to any delay or any additional preparation that needs to take place. The law is the law. It's going into effect March 2026, and the ordinance will stand as drafted, as per my recommendation to council.
I
Now,
understand.
obviously, council's discretion how to allow the ordinance to proceed, but as drafted and as its effectivity and language, that's my recommendation.
I understand. Now, I understand the law has been, is finalized now March 1st. I understand that too. I also understand that as far as actually implementing the requirement, that falls under state administrative code.
Have you received any communications from the state that say they're not ready to implement this law as of March 2026?
That's why I asked if maybe we could ask the representative.
You're speaking with legal counsel who hasn't received any such communications.
Well, that would, to me, that says they're not ready because I have not communicated.
They haven't communicated, they've communicated by passing the law.
That was the legislature. Now the Division of Community Affairs needs to enact administrative code in order to make sure that the law is followed.
We have had no communications indicating that this law is being delayed in any shape or form. And we have no communications indicating that there's going to be any delays in the administration of that law.
But isn't it true that you've received no communications at all, one way or the other?
Right? We have received
Okay.
no communications as to any delays. The law is going into effect March 1st, 2026. And this ordinance is up for first reading at tonight's council meeting.
And I'm not trying to argue with you either. I'm simply sharing my position and my opinion.
Mr. Booth, I appreciate that, and, I hope that you can appreciate when settlement agreements are being negotiated, you have to negotiate in good faith, right?
Mhm.
And I don't think we would be acting in good faith if we now start to stop the process when we negotiate and we finally have a signed agreement that we believe is in the best interest of this township, and the community. I hear you, I hear your concern, but again, this law isn't just taking effect March 1st. It takes effect March 1st, but it was signed back in June, so they've had plenty of time. And I would think and hope that, at the state level, they have that prepared and ready. I'm sure if they didn't, then maybe they would send notification. I don't know that they're going to notify everybody that they were ready now, we're in business, but, again, I go back to the negotiations with faith, which our legal team has done, this township has done, and I would be very cautious of teetering on that, where we don't fulfill our end of the obligation under the city.
Okay, as I said, I just wanted to make sure that my opinion was on the record.
Thank you,
very
Mr.
much for your
Fuder.
time.
Anyone else wishing to speak on ordinances scheduled this evening? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close public portion?
Motion.
All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Can I have a motion to adjourn ordinance meeting for February 11th, 2026 this evening?
Motion.
All in favor? Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Council meeting will start in approximately 5-10 minutes at the most.